Hey friend, if you're watching this right now with a heavy heart, maybe your marriage feels like it's fading into silence, or grief has stolen the person you love most, or you're just wondering if the spark you once had is gone forever, pause everything and stay with me until the very last word. This isn't just another story. It's the one that might save what you're afraid to lose. Close your eyes for a second and picture it, a rainy night, the kind that washes the world clean but leaves your soul soaked in regret. A man named Ayaan is sitting alone on the couch when his wife Rachel steps into the room wearing a short black dress that hugs every curve, clearly nothing underneath, her eyes steady as she says the words that stop his heart. Ayaan, I've got somewhere to go tonight. Stick around, because what happens next is raw, real, and might just remind you that love doesn't die, it just waits for someone brave enough to fight for it. Let's begin. Ayaan had once believed love was bulletproof. He and Rachel had built their life together in a quiet suburban home outside Chicago, Sunday morning pancakes, late-night laughter echoing off the walls, stolen kisses in the kitchen while the coffee brewed. She was his anchor, the woman who could turn his worst days into something bearable with nothing more than a soft touch on his shoulder. Then came the phone call that shattered everything. His younger brother, Marcus, gone in a single-car accident on a slick highway at midnight. No warning. No goodbye. Just emptiness where a brother's laugh used to live. In the months that followed, grief wrapped around Ayaan like chains he couldn't break. He stopped talking. Stopped touching. Stopped seeing the woman sleeping beside him every night. Rachel tried everything. She cooked his favorite meals, left little notes on the fridge, even suggested counseling, but Ayaan would only stare at the wall, lost in memories of Marcus teaching him to ride a bike, of the two of them staying up all night planning their futures. I'm fine, he'd mutter, pulling away when she reached for him. Inside, he was drowning in guilt. Why hadn't he called Marcus that night? Why hadn't he been the big brother who could have saved him? The pain made him push Rachel further and further away until their home felt like two strangers sharing the same roof. Intimacy became a distant memory. Conversations lasted 3 words at most. Rachel's eyes, once bright with love, now carried shadows of exhaustion and unspoken hurt. She had cried alone in the bathroom more times than she could count, whispering to the mirror, "How do I fight for a man who's already left me?" Yet she stayed. Because somewhere deep down she still believed the Ayaan she married, the one who danced with her in the rain on their honeymoon, was still in there. But the silence was killing her slowly. She felt invisible, unwanted, like her body and her heart no longer mattered. One stormy Thursday night, after another dinner eaten in total quiet, Rachel made a decision that would change everything. She went upstairs for over an hour. When she came down, Ayaan barely looked up from his phone until she stood right in front of him. The short black dress clung to her like a second skin, the hem barely reaching mid-thigh. No bra. No panties. Just smooth skin and quiet determination. Her hair fell loose and wavy, makeup perfect, heels clicking softly on the wooden floor. She looked like the woman he had fallen madly in love with years ago, beautiful, bold, alive. But her voice was calm, almost too calm. Ayaan, I've got somewhere to go tonight. That was all. No explanation. No anger. Just those words hanging in the air like thunder. Aaron's world tilted. His heart slammed against his ribs so hard he thought it might crack. Somewhere to go? In that dress? With nothing underneath? Images flooded his mind, another man's hands on her, laughter that wasn't his, a life without her in it. The grief he had buried for months suddenly mixed with pure terror. Rachel, wait, what are you talking about? His voice cracked, the first real emotion he had shown in weeks. She didn't answer. She simply picked up her purse, walked to the door, and stepped out into the pouring rain. The door clicked shut behind her like a final period on their story. Ayaan sat frozen for 3 full seconds before panic exploded inside him. He bolted after her, shoes untied, shirt half-buttoned, rain instantly soaking him to the bone. "Rachel," he shouted into the storm, his voice breaking. "Rachel, please." He caught a glimpse of her taillights disappearing down the street and ran to his car, hands shaking so badly he could barely turn the key. As he drove through the downpour, windshield wipers fighting a losing battle, every mile felt like a year of regret. He realized in that moment how deeply he had failed her. How his grief had become a wall that locked her out and locked him inside his own pain. The short dress, the words, "somewhere to go," they weren't just a shock. They were a mirror showing him exactly what he was about to lose forever. And for the first time since Marcus died, Ayaan felt something stronger than sorrow, the desperate, aching need to fight for the only person who had ever truly held him together. The rain hammered the windshield like it was trying to wash away years of unspoken hurt. Ayaan finally spotted her car pulled over on the side of the road near the old park where they used to walk hand in hand. He slammed on the brakes, jumped out, and ran to her window, soaked and trembling. Rachel sat inside, hands gripping the steering wheel, tears mixing with rain on her cheeks. When she saw him, she didn't drive away. She just lowered the window a crack and whispered, "Why did you follow me, Ayaan?" He dropped to his knees right there on the wet pavement, rain streaming down his face. "Because I can't lose you too," he choked out. "Not after Marcus. Not after I already lost part of myself. Please, tell me where you're going. Tell me I'm not too late." For the first time in months, he let the tears come, ugly, heaving sobs that shook his whole body. Rachel stared at him, her own walls cracking. She stepped out of the car, the short dress now clinging wet to her skin, and knelt with him in the puddle. "I was going to a hotel," she admitted, voice raw. "I packed a bag earlier. I was going to stay there tonight and tomorrow I was meeting with a lawyer. I couldn't keep living like a ghost in my own marriage. This dress. I wore it because I wanted to feel beautiful again, wanted to feel wanted, even if it was just for one night before I walked away. Nothing underneath because I thought maybe if I looked like the woman you used to desire, you'd finally see me. But you never did. Until tonight." Ayaan reached for her hands, holding them like they were the only thing keeping him alive. "I was drowning, Rachel. Every time I looked at you, I saw how much I was hurting you, and it made the guilt worse. Marcus was supposed to be at our anniversary dinner next month. He was supposed to be the godfather to our future kids. I thought if I let myself feel anything, love, joy, even you, I'd betray him by moving on. But pushing you away, that was the real betrayal." He pulled her close, rain pouring over them both, and for the first time in forever they held each other without armor. She cried into his shoulder, whispering all the nights she had waited for him to come back to her, all the time she almost left but couldn't because she still loved the broken man in front of her. They sat in the car for hours after that, engine running, heater blasting, talking like they hadn't talked in years. He told her stories about Marcus she had never heard, the silly childhood pranks, the late-night talks about dreams. She told him how lonely the house had felt, how she had started doubting her own worth. No more hiding. No more silence. By the time the storm eased into a gentle drizzle, they had made a promise: tomorrow they would call a grief counselor together. They would go to therapy. They would date again, real dates, like when they were young. "And that short black dress?" Rachel laughed softly through her tears and said, "Maybe next time I wear it, you'll be the one taking it off me, at home." They drove back together, hands intertwined the whole way. The house that had felt like a tomb now felt warm again as they stepped inside. Ayaan kissed her forehead, then her lips, slow and deep, the kind of kiss that says, "I'm never letting go again." Grief didn't disappear overnight, but it no longer had the power to destroy them. They had found each other in the rain, in the fear, in the honesty they had both been too scared to give before. And here's the truth I want you to carry with you, my friend, right now, as you finish this story: the darkest nights in a marriage aren't the end. They're the invitation to begin again. If grief has stolen your voice, if silence has replaced your touch, if you're watching this wondering if it's too late, stop wondering. Go to the person you love. Tell them everything. Wear the short dress. Chase them through the rain. Fight like your whole heart depends on it, because it does. Love isn't perfect. It's messy, painful, and sometimes it takes losing almost everything to remember how precious it is. But when two people choose each other again, even after the storm, something unbreakable is born. You still have time. You still have a chance. Go make it count. And if this story moved you even a little, remember, the brightest mornings always come after the darkest nights. Thank you for staying until the end. You're not alone.